Oh, yes. Okay, it is on. Welcome back to another episode of the best worst show on the internet. I'll be your host today. My name is Manuel Chavez III or the Turd, depending on how you know me. And howdy doody. Welcome to all of my friends on Rumble. Welcome to all my friends on YouTube. And welcome to all my friends on Kick. Because, you know, we still multi-stream. Although, I don't know if we should be doing that anymore, man. I've been really watching the tales of the tape over the last couple of months. And, man, I've been noticing that, you know what? The views on Rumble are way up. The views on YouTube are way down. And, I mean, weird stuff's happening with a lot of other creators that are moving their live shows only to Rumble, but still posting their content everywhere else. I mean, I don't know how all that shit works. I don't know how it works out for them, but probably it'll work out great for them or whatever, because everything works out great for everyone else. Me, on the other hand, I mean, it's a struggle. I've always been on the struggle bus. I don't think I'm ever going to get off of it. And that sucks, right? That sucks. It sucks. But yeah, dude, look at that. We got all you guys. Dude, Pepperidge says YouTube is cancer while he's commenting on YouTube. Yeah, you could go on over to Rumble, sign up for an account, drop us a follow, go on over there. But, you know, obviously, YouTube's more widely known than Rumble. But, you know, for it being more widely known, how with less than 500 followers am I getting more views than a channel with 6,000? I think it's called censorship. That's what it's called. It's a censorship thing. Just because, you know, there's no love, dude. There's no love for content that's bad out there on the tubes or whatever. I tried to have the best show, but everybody told me my show sucks. So that's why we just ended up having the best worst show. Because if we're gonna make it bad, we might as well make it bad. And yeah, I see over there Miguel kicking it over there on Kick. That's a good place to go kick it. Rumble's a great place to go kick it. They're all great places to kick it. We've always used the shotgun approach when streaming and multi-stream to all the platforms, so you guys can decide, you know, who you want to pay your money through or whatever. That's what it's all about. Because this show's allegedly a grift, right? Although I haven't grifted that hard. Money's been extra tight. Been having to beg people to give me loans and stuff like that and extensions or whatever. And it sucks because, like, I felt like I was supposed to be making more money this year. And I feel like I made more money this year. It's just that everything is just so much more expensive that it doesn't matter if you make more money. You're just going to spend more money. It's an evil thing. It's the evil thing. So, you know, I'm out here ethically grifting, being like, I'm broke. If you want to send me some money, you could totally do that. We accept it in all different ways or whatever. You can send it on the PayPal. You can send it through the Streamlabs. You can send it through the Rumble Rants. You got the Venmo, the Cash App. You can buy merch. Hell, you could even buy an EMP shield if you want to fix your EMP thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, if you're worried about that sort of thing, which I would be. And then we still have Coffee Brand Coffee on there, but I got to take that off because, you know, Jeremy from the Quartering is one of those guys that went Rumble only, right? But, like, we never got paid for any of the sales that we made for him. Our promo code doesn't even work anymore. We got to get a bunch of people to rebuy shit, re-sign up and all that. So, just whatever, man. So, yeah, I just, like, unfollowed his Rumble. Well, mostly just because, not unfollow his Rumble. I had to leave his locals because, you know, that $5 a month was, that $5 a month is killer sometimes. But as always, if you want to follow us on our links, you go check us out on all the different websites and stuff like that, you can. All you got to do is go to griftcast.com. It'll bring you right to our link tree with all the links to all the little things. And jokingly, I did put all the donation links over there at the top because when we were doing the whole Griftcast grift thing, it was funny as shit. I'm just exhausted of that crap. So I might still, like, you know, bring it up from time to time or whatever and use the name because we did buy all of the shit and I have to use it for at least a year for me to feel like I actually got something out of it. Although I feel like we all got something out of it, just, you know, throwing it out there, right? We did. So Griftonomics aside, it's been a light month. And other news, though, if you guys have been wondering what the song that I'm playing at the very beginning of the stream, this is the song right here. It's Master Striker, the Sony Boogie. and a bunch of kanji, or I don't even know what that is. Actually, I think that might be Korean. I think that's Korean. I'm not sure. I'm not a big one. But yeah, you can follow Master Striker over on the SoundCloud. He got lots of songs and stuff like that he got not that many followers, but probably one of my more favorite vaporwave artists out there that exists. And honestly, I really just love the very first part of this song, right? It reminds me of my childhood. Because, like I'd be getting up in the morning, sitting in front of my computer. My brother would be playing on the PlayStation or whatever. Be a great day. Great day. Great day. It's a great day. Yep, definitely a great day. So I guess where do we start from today? Because I think we actually have two different messages. I got one 12 hours ago and I got one day ago. But for whatever reason, I feel like in retrospect, I should start with this one. Because, why not? Why not? We're going to make it a thing. We're going to read what the woo-woos say about the universe. And since we skipped a day, we got to make sure that we get both of them. So here it goes. And interestingly enough, I just realized something. It says Illawarra District, June 3rd, 2015. Where the hell is the Illawarra District in Australia? I don't know where that is, actually. I don't think I've ever figured that out. But yeah, look at that. I just realized that this song was also posted September 7th, 2015. Which is a little bit after it or whatever. But I don't know. 2015, I feels like that was a pretty good year. It was a pretty good year. So this one says Cherubim, I'll be Frank, and Alice. And the subject is in retrospect, which is a parcel transmission. This one comes from a guy named George Bernard, who's actually the dude that started the entire 1111 progress group, whatever. 1111 spiritual guardians were part of a random midwares that are coming here to save the world from whatever. Yeah. Anyways, Frank would like you to know, between us, Alice and I, the likes of primary midwear Andrea and midwear Matthew, we have a great opportunity to converse with you on this occasion. Each of us Celestials has sufficient latitude of mind to converse with the next personality that is a little more on the material side. You are the exception, however. We can sometimes warn you of things about to happen, but most of us must trust in the now. Long ago, we agreed that mankind in living on the evolutionary worlds is jettisoned off the deep end to sink or swim as they will. We are all familiar with those who supposedly failed to make it to eternal life, mostly because of their growing tired of being given procedures that need for which they do not understand. Few, very few, exceedingly few, find all chances of eternal life are beyond their means as they pass over from their earthly lives. It is on the mansion worlds where some lose courage to go on, and today we want to discuss one of the big reasons why. As Homo sapiens, you live your life in the past. Too much of it in the past. Until your dying day, you will regret those things you did that weren't all that good. However, the mere fact that you remember those pickled old sins might indicate that you have outgrown such behavior and only need to forgive yourself. Your precious spirit within brings these thoughts to the fore, and for you to find closure and forgive yourself with the undertaking to do something that is right, as a form of penance perhaps. As a good old Catholic boy from way, way back, I should imagine, where the real pain is on the mansion worlds is with those who had it all wrong. They did not do enough, not enough good stuff, not enough good deeds, not enough unselfish work. They are empty-handed, and now they find themselves among their previously considered lesser kin of the evolutionary spheres. They have so very much shrunk in stature on the semi-spiritual estate, this Maurential plane, that it becomes too much to bear, too hard to switch to a new mindset, and the occasional personality drips into imprudent ways of thinking. But on the mansion worlds, there is nothing that cannot be righted in retrospect. As one gets to be a little older, there is a looking back, which is entirely the prompting of the spirit within. These indices of remembrance are designed for one to realize past mistakes, to fully forgive these gaffes and slip-ups in their time, take some good and honorable deeds along with you to the mansion worlds. Truly, it won't hurt for you to occasionally be generous and to have a better grasp of the now you live and its purpose. This is Frank, never brutal, always frank. And George says, we love you too, Alice. Interesting. Sometimes I'm Frank, I feel like. My nickname for a while was Frank. Some people would just say, he's just being a little too frank. Maybe I am a bit too frank. Maybe that's probably why some people don't like the way that I do things, is because I'm a little too frank. But whatever. Kind of a weird message from a few years ago that seemingly randomly appeared in my inbox yesterday. And then they actually sent me another one for today, too, which is also from the same time period, many, many years ago, 8 years ago, in fact. And this one's from Oregon. Ah, yes, Oregon, the bastion of leftist insanity. Fantastic. And this one's from an unknown teacher group on January 13th of 2015. The subject is the substance of love. Well, yeah, it's because, like love is an energy and it's a material and immaterial thing at the same time that can span vast distances and stuff. Whatever. Spokesperson, whoever this spokesperson is. I love you are the words so frequently spoken on this planet. 3 small words with huge content. Love is an energy, an energetic substance which infuses all creation. The ability to tap into this substance is what allows your heart to expand as love. By its very nature, it cannot fit in closed and tight spaces. Love suffocates if it is being monopolized or greedily held back. Love multiplies whenever it is truly shared, as it takes at least 2 to love. Love is not a one-way street. Love is a 2-way boulevard. Actually, it's more like a roundabout. What goes around comes around. As you focus your life more and more on the expression of your own love, your being will be transformed by it. Service is truly the highest expression of love, its manifestation, its actualization. Without being channeled through altruistic service, love is not empowered. Love is a potential that needs to be activated and spirit-led. Your Master Jesus was a shining example of what true love is, as he dedicated his whole life to a higher service on multiple levels. Service to the Father, service to his siblings and family, service to others, even the ones that were hard to love. Love does not discriminate. A loving heart just extends itself to everyone and everything without placing any artificial barriers along its own way. Do not restrict your ability to love. Do not clog your love channels. The more you allow love to flow through your being, the more you expand your ability to love, to receive love, and to respond with love. Love is a truly circulatory system of the universes. This is the reason why unity and diversity is the modus operandi of the universes. Embrace diversity with love and gratitude. Express your own uniqueness and self-respect and dignity. Do not be embarrassed by who you are. You are unique and precious. Comparing yourself with others will never help you embrace your own God-given unique gifts. Support others in their own expression. The Father's gifts are always meant to be shared and appreciated by all. Aww, what a fantastic message. Don't you just feel the love, folks? Don't you just feel the love? I've always thought that people maybe miss the fact that everything is energy in this universe. And some people bastardize the reasoning as to why someone of my stature would even proclaim something as such, because you always want to give much love, but Can you be a little too stingy with love? Do you really have a loving embrace? And then why is it that any time that I've ever looked into any type of love or above or spiritual guardianship or awakening, raising your kundalini, rotating your chakra vortices and going to Sedona or whatever, I don't know, like I've been through all of that stuff and everything always seems to be hit right on the word love. It doesn't matter which denomination or which group of individuals are teaching me some kind of insane woo-woo, gonna be able to expand yourself type deal shit. It always seems that each and every one of the systems is always pretty much dependent on that one little word, L-O-V-E, love, or ELO. Like the question being is that why do people spend the time to do all of this stuff? And how did all of those disparate individuals that have studied all of these different disparate things always fall on the same situation of awareness? Whether it's, oh yes, you need to draw in the highest light and love from above and below and have it meet in the center of your heart to jumpstart and activate all of those interesting vortices? Or is it you need to let the light flow in from the top of your head and fill yourself with love and light until it reaches your heart space, and then you need to fill that too, right? Like, I don't know. All I really know is that I remember this love or above thing, which was a completely different denominational thing, not even anything associated with this, yet still talking about the same damn thing. Still talking about the same damn thing. Why do they talk about the same damn things? Is there a reasoning for it? Maybe there should be a little bit more love in life, but I feel like there's not a whole lot of love out there, I'm still the idiot that gives the homeless people $5 and shit like that when I don't have it for myself. But I've always thought that, maybe, just maybe I'm trying to stack up at least a little bit more of those selfless acts for when I get back to the mansion worlds. Because I guess I'll get back there eventually. I mean, I don't know, this whole
on the court.
This whole functionally being immortal thing kind of fucking sucks. Because, like, how many fucking times have I died now? Like, I don't even fucking know. It's too many. It's at least too many. Yeah, too many. So, with that, now that we got all of that woo-woo crap done, and I feel better about at least discussing all of that stuff from the 11/11, we can get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show today. Because we have a few different links that we can haphazardly go through so that you guys can enjoy whatever it is that we're doing here today. And what do we really even start with today? I think it's going to be the Supreme Court. I feel like the Supreme Court was on a gaff runner, whatever the shit today. Yeah. I mean, I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. In a lot of ways is that there's something weird happening. There's affirmatively some action that is happening here that is pissing people off. But I mean, to be honest, is like, I'm a guy that got into Harvard University, right? I got into Harvard. That was one of the only colleges that I applied to besides Duke, Central Arizona College, and ASU. I got into every single college. I had a pretty good GPA. Some pretty good. I thought I had like a really good way of getting to college, but I just didn't have the money, like didn't have anybody in the family to help me afford it. Nobody to co-sign for a loan or anything like that. And I couldn't even get it on my own. So I just never went, I went to community college because that's all I could afford. And I had to pay for it myself. So, whenever anybody in my family tries to talk shit or whatever about me being a college boy, and I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? I paid for it myself out of my own pocket. I worked 3 jobs, and then I went back to college and I did it again. And you know what? Both times I got to say I had a lot of fun, but did it help me later in life? Am I making more money or any of that shit? No. But the Supreme Court's decided to, I don't know, create another civil war or some shit like that, piss a whole bunch of people off, it looks like. So, yeah, the Supreme Court just outlawed affirmative action in college admissions. That just happened. So that means that basically we're going back to it being the case is to which if you apply to school and you're qualified for the school can accept you and they don't have to worry about whether you're black, brown, yellow, purple, green, blue, doesn't matter, like we could just go back to, hiring the best of the best as opposed to, having to bring in some of the worst because, you got to be affirmative in your action or whatever. I don't know. I always thought affirmative action was a pretty racist thing. Affirmative action never helped me out, nothing. And I'm a Mexican, right? I look white because I have this bright ass light on me or whatever. I don't go outside anymore, so I don't really tan. But let me tell you, if I was outside for like a week and I'd come back on here and you didn't see me, you'd be like, who the fuck is that? It's Manny. He's just brown as fuck. He just brown like shit. What the fuck? Like when I was a kid, I used to get like golden bronze and shit, like a golden god, but not anymore. I like to keep my I like to keep my skin nice, Like I want to look good. I want to look good in the future is what I want to do. Yeah. So I kind of wondered what the hell's going to happen in the world today, but the Supreme Court decided to strike down the affirmative action, declaring that race cannot be considered a factor and forcing institutions of higher education to look for new ways to achieve diverse student bodies. That's right. So it's finally happening, folks. This is during the Democrats' time, and believe me now, this is from the Supreme Court, and I mean, this is probably going to have some pretty interesting ramifications because it wasn't that long ago that I was watching videos like this. What's this? Here's the guy.
Did I get into Harvard? No! Come on, just give me something, guys. No. Did I get in Columbia? Dude, I must have done something seriously wrong. Did I get into Stanford University? Yes, think I got into MIT?
I think we got it.
I did get rejected from MIT. Did I get into Duke University? No. I gotta get into one of these, dude. Did I get in to Rice University?
Yeah, imagine being this guy. You're 18 years old. You're graduating high school. You're a white man. You're ranked number 1 in your class. You have a GPA of 5.09, an ACT score of 35, which is pretty insane. Although I got a better score on mine, but it's not about me. And you're also the class vice president. And you get literally denied from every single Ivy League school. Like, don't get me wrong. I know exactly why I got accepted to Harvard, and it was most definitely not because of my excellent test scores or my essay or anything like that. It was 100% affirmative action, right? They needed to get their Mexican quota up, and they were really hoping to get me to pay all that money to them. But frankly, I just didn't have the cash, man. I mean, coming up with all that money, I couldn't even get a job where I was even making a quarter of that. So it seemed like it was really far away for me. And that sucks sometimes when great people that, want to help change the world and do big things just never get the leg up that they desire in order to do so. And that's where I've been stuck my whole entire life. Like the one time that I had money, I got a house. I made sure that I was investing, and it all got stolen from me, right out from under me. But then again, that's kind of like how my life's been going on for years and years and years. So I look at what's happening here, and I mean, it does suck, man, because I've heard this from my nieces and nephews and whatnot. They got the last name they don't got the last name Chavez. They get the affirmative action, although I think the only person in my family right now that's probably set, really, is Emma. My sister's first daughter. She's really big now. But she's Native American, so you know she's like half Native American, so she's got like that Native American money or whatever. So she seems to be doing all right. All right. That's what she got into college and all that other shit too. Just makes me wonder, you know, like what's happening with the world. It seems like just last year the Supreme Court was taking away our right to abortion, right? Which I'm okay with because I never wanted to abort anybody. I'm not a woman. I can't make babies inside of me or whatever. But, you know, I've always been like murder is wrong. You shouldn't kill little babies or whatever, even if they are inside of a woman or not. I understand all the words and stuff, but it's like going from that to this, it's definitely a step down. But like, what are we going to do? Really is like, how is this gonna change things moving forward for us is the big question, and I don't really know. I honestly don't know how it's gonna change anything other than, I mean, college campuses might get a little whiter. There's probably gonna be a whole lot of rioting. I mean, we're probably gonna see a whole lot of folks on YouTube or Twitch, Twitter, whatever social media that you use. They're probably gonna be complaining, "Oh, this is the worst thing that they could have done to black people." And I'd be like, what? Look, you know, is it? Maybe they should just try harder or whatever. You know, like, I'm so sick of hearing about people being not having things. Like, my mom used to make my clothes. She had a sewing machine, right? And she used to sew our clothes for us or whatever. And that happened for many, many years. I got made fun of for that shit a lot. But, like, I get it. I get it, man. I get it. But at the same time, I don't get this, you know. It's going to change things, but what's it really going to change, man? You know? What's really going to change? But the Supreme Court's still doing other things. Like, if you didn't think that that was a big thing from the Supreme Court, they also decidedly made another decision on the case, right? They just solidified the protections for workers who ask for religious accommodations, which is another big thing that hasn't been being done for a very, very long time. For whatever reason, ever since this whole AGTPQ plus IAL port 7QG, whatever, plus that shit. I can't remember all the letters anymore. Whatever that stuff started to roll around, it seemed like religion was just getting shit on every angle. And even during the entire pandemic, like, oh, religious exemptions, religious accommodations. Yeah, fuck you. You ain't get that shit. Well, the Supreme Court used a case from a Christian mail carrier who didn't want to work on Sundays to solidify protections for workers who ask for those religious accommodations. And crazily enough, it came as a unanimous decision. So, like, the Supreme Court, they were fighting about the whole thing on the affirmative action. Ketanji Brown Jackson, our newest Supreme Court justice, was crying about it and how it's going to be so hard for black people. But then, you know, the other black guy, Clarence Thomas, was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. It's all about merit. What the fuck? Like, it's just like the worst thing that we could have done to black people, I think, is just like tell them that their lives are bad and everything is wrong for them because, like, literally they have all the same opportunities that we do, including me. Honestly, you got more opportunities than I do, so you should be doing better than me, but you probably are. But it's crazy to think that, you know, in one, we got a bunch of people that are arguing, and on the other one that seemingly goes with the religious end of things, they're all on the same page, man. The justices basically made it clear that workers who ask for accommodations such as, I don't know, not getting vaccinated because it's against your religion, having the Sabbath off, Sunday for all you demon spawn out there, and they said they should get it off unless their employer shows in doing so would result in substantial increased costs to the business. And the reason they said substantial increased costs is because, like, you know how some businesses are going to be like, oh, well, I had to put somebody out there, so I had to pay the exact same amount of money to another person. That's not a substantial increased risk cost. It'd be like if you had to like hire 50 people. That would be a substantial increased cost, okay? Just like putting it out there to you whiny little business bitches. But, the court made it clear that businesses must cite more than minor costs. So they called it de minimis costs to reject requests for religious accommodations at worst. Unlike most cases before the court, both sides agreed in the case and agreed that businesses needed to show more accommodations. Yes. Think about that. Maybe religion is making a comeback. I feel like it should be making a comeback. That's why I keep talking about these religious type things, because it doesn't matter what your denomination is or whatever. I think everybody can understand the language of unity and love pretty equally, irregardless of what doctrine you come from. I mean, if you're one of those like simple-minded fools who only follows one things and doesn't actually research to understand the rest of them, well, that's not my fault. Yeah. That's not my fault. So think about that, dude. Religious requests for religious accommodations are finally going to be happening. And think about it. This is just for more than Christians, right? There's all kinds of Muslims that need religious accommodations because they got to pray to their God 5 times a day, 3 times a day. Actually, I don't remember. X amount of times a day or whatever. You know, there's all kinds of religions that need accommodations. And this is going to cover all of them. And honestly, I think that, like, I don't know where we've lost ourselves in this country and why people don't believe in a higher power or all satanic and demonic and shit nowadays. But I feel like at least we get little tiny wins like this. Even if it is, oh, well, I don't want to work on Sunday because it sucks. Well, sorry, that shit's against my religion. And if I say it's against my religion, I hope really that I could claim that. Even the, what does that say? Bam says, even the Roman Emperor Constantine understood the importance of religious freedoms for his people and allowed many Christians to build churches instead of feeding them to the lions. Yeah, that was super nice of Constantine to hold Roman Empire. That's son of a bitch, dude. That motherfucker, dude. All right, cool. So yeah, just imagine if you were that white kid. I mean, I don't want to imagine I was that white kid or whatever, but that's probably what a lot of white kids nowadays got to deal with. And speaking about white kids, here's another white kid that everybody was talking about for a while. If you haven't remembered, there was a situation that was involving Bud Light and a TikTok star named Dylan Mulvaney, a transgendered individual that, I don't know, made them lose like billions of dollars or some shit. Was it billions, millions? I don't know, 30% of their bottom line, something like that. It was a lot, okay? It's a lot. Well, Dylan Mulvaney has come out of hiding, broken their silence, and basically they have a message for all of you bigots, you evil death threaters, and all you nasty people that were just doing nasty things. All the while drinking a Bud Light.
One thing I will not tolerate people saying about me is that I don't like beer, because I love beer and I always have.
I love beer.
I built my platform on being honest with you, and what I'm about to tell you might sound like old news, but you know that feeling when you have something uncomfy like sitting on your chest? Well, that's how I feel right now, so this feels like the right thing to do. I took a brand deal with a company that I loved, and I posted a sponsored video to my page.
Oh?
And it must have been a slow news week, because the way that this ad got blown up, you would have thought I was like on a billboard or on a TV commercial or something.
Magic poop. Dylan Mulvaney kind of is looking like that Star Wars girl, or is that Star Wars girl starting to look like Dylan Mulvaney? I'm going to go with the second one. I think that Star Wars girl is starting to look like Dylan Mulvaney. Just, she's thicker, you know. That Star Wars girl, thicker.
Major, but no, it was just an Instagram video. And the wildest part is that they also sent me one can with my face on it. You might have seen it. And funny story, I had the can around my house, But then I realized, wait, I need to protect this can. So I hid it somewhere, and now I can't find it because I hid it so well. But when I do find it, I feel like it needs to go in a museum, preferably behind bulletproof glass.
Wow. And sewer guy Rob, that is 100% correct. Dylan Mulvaney is still a human being and still needs love, irregardless of what your thoughts are about their issues. Yes, issues. I'm just gonna call it issues. I feel like that's safe. Is saying issues safe? Saying issues is safe. You know, everybody knows that, like, I've lost many friends because I've been like, well, you know, I believe that, you know, there's men and there's women. You know, I got a twin sister, okay? She's a girl. I'm a guy. We came from the same lady, came out at the same time. We're different, right? Last time I checked, nobody's been able to tell me that, you know, genetically speaking, there's a way to, like, change your chromosomes. So, like, when that happens, great. Shit's just gonna get a lot weirder, folks, because it's gonna get weirder. And we don't know if we're gonna be able to change our DNA or transport our consciousness from one body to another one first. And both of those situations are gonna be some pretty, like, seem to be the time that we should be dealing with this, but it is what it is.
And you might be thinking, Dylan, why bring it up now? I'm bringing it up because what transpired from that video was more bullying and transphobia than I could have ever imagined. And I should have made this video months ago, but I didn't. And I was scared, and I was scared of more backlash, and I felt personally guilty for what transpired. So I patiently waited for things to get better.
By the way, Dylan, you got no titties.
But surprise,
None.
they haven't really. And I was waiting for the brand to reach out to me, but they never did.
Like, I got more titties than you do, bro.
My house. I have been ridiculed in public. I've been followed, and I have felt a loneliness that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I'm not telling you this because I want your pity. I am telling you this because if this is my experience from a very privileged perspective, know that it is much, much worse for other trans people.
Oh, so Dylan Mulvaney hasn't made any videos, but there's been death threats and transphobia and harassment, and this was their idea of coming back out to let everybody know that I'm still here, I'm still queer, and I'm still drinking Bud Light. Even though, I don't know, I don't feel like that was a Bud Light. It was a little too yellow, not enough head on the top. I mean, to be perfectly honest, it looked a little more like a different kind of beer, but it is what it is. So Dylan Mulvaney's been scared to leave the house for months. They've been ridiculed in public. They've been followed. And they say that they're feeling a loneliness that no one should ever feel. Which is really funny because I can actually draw some, I don't know, parallels to that and how I was treated. And I'm not a trans person or whatever. I don't know. In that Rust game, I'm a sexy lady or whatever. And whenever I say that shit, it pisses people off. And they're like, you can't say that. That's mean. You're being transphobic. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I could have changed my character in this game, so I'm a sexy lady. You know? Just trying to, like, deal with it. I mean, when I was born or whatever, you know, like, I was born a dude. It's not like I could swap. I mean, I'm not into genital mutilation, so whatever. I just feel like some people wanted to be famous. They got famous. Everything started happening great for them. And then they realized that, yeah, the world's not as great as you thought it was. For every one person that's amazing, there's going to be 10 people out there that are going to hate your guts and treat you like shit. At least in my experience. Like, you know, for every one of you guys that's awesome, there's 10 of you guys. There's 10 of y'all that suck ass. And that's just facts. Okay? It's just facts. So it happens to everyone, man. And I do feel bad, right? Like, because this is a person that's obviously taken themselves into the forefront done all of this stuff very publicly. And yes, it may be self-inflicted, but you still have to actually, you don't have to, but it would be nice of you to be a human being and, be able to utilize your consciousness and emotions to at least have a little bit of feeling as to, what it might be like. Obviously these are all self-made decisions, but the fact of the matter is there are people out there that are worse than us. There are evil people out there that do evil shit. We see it every day, right? There's murderers every day. I feel like more and more every day there's crazy people killing folks, threatening people, crimes on the rise. So yeah, it is probably a little dangerous for this individual, right? And being so public so quickly, not really thinking about the consequences. I just don't get it. You know what? I'm with you, Bam. I don't understand why anybody would crave fame in this society. Like, I used to want to be famous, but then I realized that no, I did not want to be famous. I just wanted to be heard, right? And then the only way that I can be heard is if I do my own show. So that's why we do one. It's because outside of that, no one's ever going to hear you. And I guess the only thing they really have that's going for them is that at least they have a platform so that people can listen to them. Except for their numbers are way better than mine. And I mean, what's real Candace Owens say? No one threatened to kill Dylan Mulvaney. We threatened to and made good on no longer drinking Bud Light. I'm so sick of the trans community pretending they are black people surviving the Klan in the 1920s while there's their fake implants on the White House lawn. Which is kind of messed up. But I get what she's doing there. She's kind of like taking two different trans individuals and mixing them together to try to increase the negative vibe that is associated to the words that she's saying. And you know what? That's crazy, dude. It's not like she's a fan of mine, though. I'm a fan of hers, though. Well, I'm a fan of that booty. But you know what, dude? Is it? What dude doesn't like booty? What dude doesn't like booty?
What I mean by unstated affirmative action is, what if the college or university doesn't tell anybody, doesn't make any public statements, but still wants to? I'll give you an example from our law school, but if ever I'm deposed, I'm going to deny I said this to you. When we do faculty hiring, we're quite conscious that diversity is important to us. And we say diversity is important, it's fine to say that. But I'm very careful when we have a faculty appointments committee meeting. Anytime somebody says, we should really prefer this candidate over this candidate because this person would add diversity, don't say that. You can think it, you can vote it, but our discussions are not privileged, so don't ever articulate that that's what you're doing. Well, that works more easily with regard to faculty hiring. With regard to student admissions, it becomes more difficult because it's a statistical measure. What I mean by unstated affirmative action is, what if the...
Oh. Well, that's cool. So, like, they ended affirmative action, but, like, most of the Ivy League schools and all the other folks are still going to do it anyway. They're just not going to tell anybody. Damn. Still cheating. Every second of every day. Ah, yes. Speaking of a cheater, apparently Joe Biden's family, those payments that they received are now exceeding over $40 million, says James Comer. And he literally said this was organized crime. And that's the president of the United States of America, which, I mean, I thought we were supposedly going to be doing better than Donald Trump. And I mean, he had a whole lot of shit that happened during this shit. But I feel like everything that's been coming out about Biden has been worse, just like across the board. And it just keeps getting more worse. But yes, members of the President Biden's family have accepted in excess of $40 million from foreign nationals in exchange for favorable policy decisions, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer suggested on Wednesday. The Kentucky Republican said that his panel has identified 6 specific policy decisions where Biden, 80 years old, took actions to indicate he may have been compromised during his appearance on John Catsimatidis. Comer noted that 6 policy decisions, 4 of them were made while Joe Biden was president early on, where we cannot come to any other conclusion as to why these decisions were made other than the fact that the president is compromised. This was organized crime. There's no other way to define it. Well, it's probably more than that, but is there really anything that's going to be coming out of this? Are we going to be seeing an impeachment out of this? I mean, half of America probably still doesn't actually believe that it's a reality because most of the mainstream media refuses to discuss it because they don't want to affect the election in any way, which is hysterical if you really stop to think about it or whatever. But yes, around 30 or 40 different banks, about that many different shell companies. It's an organized attempt by the Biden family to hide the source of the money going into these shell companies to distract from the IRS so they wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. And that's exactly what the IRS whistleblowers allege in the transcribed interview with Ways and Means Committee. And that the Biden family never paid any money on these wires that came into the shell companies. So, whistleblowers, the Uniparty, poor old Biden just making some big ass money and not getting anything done to him. It's nice that they're finding more information, but until we actually see some real movement from it, like, what's the point? And that's really my thoughts of the matter. Lunchy, come here. What are you doing? Are you done being lazy over there? Are you done being a lazy puppy? Are you done being a lazy puppy? Oh, my lazy Lunchy. My baby. Yeah, they're just blowing hot air. They're not going to do anything. And it sucks. But it doesn't matter because I got the lunches. Lunchy break. Oh, look, it's Lunchy. What are you doing, sassy puppy? You having a good day? You be a good girl? Are you just laying on the bed? You wanted to come on the show for a little bit? Is that what's up? You coming on the show for a little bit, little sweet puppers? The sweetie. Yeah, Lunchy's still alive. She's a good girl. She's getting bigger. She's still very, very quiet. Only barks when there's an issue. I'm coming up here. Yeah, you want some banana? You want some banana, Lunchy? You don't ever eat the banana, Lunchy. You always smell it, though. You don't eat the Lunchy. The Lunchy cast. Are you hungry? Is that what it is? You're hungry, huh? Yeah, okay. We'll give you food after the show, okay? You can have some fresh pet. That shit with the chicken and the cranberries and the asparagus that you like. This is a good girl. Aww. Aww, sweet girl. Yeah, you're gonna sit right there, sweet girl, for a little bit? You gonna hang? Yeah. Okay. She gonna hang. Good old Lunchy's gonna hang with me. Yeah, Lunchy's always a good girl. She likes to be on the show sometimes. And she keeps me sane. What is this? Breaking! Judge gives Carrie Lake a massive court win in denying Maricopa County's motion to dismiss in her mail-in ballot signature verification request. I'm inclined to think that there might be the need to take some evidence here, says the judge. Wow. The County Board of Supervisors and the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors election division are represented by Constable Joseph E. LaRue and Jack O'Connor. A record of the proceeding is digitally made in lieu of the court reporter. Argument is presented. For reasons as stated on record, it is so ordered. Maricopa County defendants motion to dismiss verified complaint for statutory special action to secure access to public recorders from defendants is granted as to all defendants other than Stephen Richter. The motion is otherwise denied. Damn, son. What's it say? Still grifted for you, Manny. Rumble Raid got a 100K. Got to dance if they go to you. I'm trying, kid. Yeah, I probably would dance if they actually came and gave me some stuff. But come on, Virginia. You've been here for how many years? You know, every time that there's any time of contest or party or like, you know, whatever, giveaway, any of that shit. I never win any of that shit. They don't fucking see me, bro. They never see me. Anyways, oh, look at that. Did I talk about this one already? No, I don't know if I have or not on the stream, but you guys remember Mario Narfall? You remember Mario Narfall? Well, yeah, Twitter deleted my threads. So I made at least 3 different threads on the @Defango account on Twitter. Twitter deleted every single one of them. They never gave me any strikes or anything. They just made my account shadow banned for a couple of days afterwards. And then, you know, it's not there. Like when I go there, I used to be able to Google Defango Mario Narfall and it was right there, but it's no longer there. Well, it's now being reported that federal authorities are reviewing complaints filed against Mario Narfall, an entrepreneur who's becoming one of Twitter's biggest spaces star, according to a former advisor and former contractor who say they spoke with the FBI and SEC officials. But yeah, that's the big thing. That's the big thing right there. Wait, what's this? That's not what I want. Where you going? You want to come down? Okay. Sorry, baby. Yeah, and it was still when that trusted safety lady was working there is when that went away. But yes, it looks like a couple of individuals who actually used to work for Mario are the ones that are talking about them actually speaking with authorities, right? One guy's name's Check Long, who worked for Narfall as an advisor, and the other one is Sigmund Holtz, who was a contractor. And I've been going into different like rooms and Twitter spaces on this one because obviously it was 6 months ago plus when I put together my thread on this guy, because I was like, why is this Marfall guy like getting retweeted by fucking Elon Musk and getting all popular and shit? I was like, this dude is the scammer of scammers, pulled some rugs on a bunch of people, fucking completely owned like over 50 companies, just like destroyed them for money. Like, and now everybody's like, oh, Mario Narfall's got the best news in the game, man. He's gotten all the information. He's got a team. And he's like literally some dipshit with the cell phone. So it's good to hear that he's actually finally under investigation, and myself, Upper Echelon, and some other people like CoffeeZilla are probably going to be actually doing a little bit more content on this one, although I'm going to leave the big boys to do all of the big exposing. I'm just sending my little bits and pieces on over to them and obviously requesting that I get no credit because I wasn't expecting none anyway. But there is a strong possibility that there's actually going to be something coming over on this one because they have a lot of evidence that he was embezzling funds and basically doing tax evasion. And they have the evidence of that too, even his discussions of that. So, you know, is it dirty money? I don't know. All we know now is that finally, we're finally having somebody having to deal with that shit, which is pretty good because I'm so sick of these guys. You know, guys like Mario Narfall, fucking Ian Moms Chong. These guys are allegedly making all of the money and doing all of the good work, but all they're really doing is just stealing everybody else's action and trying to build their brands for what? I mean, they don't even got a good brand. And half the time, their opinions are some of the worst ones. But I think the only reason Elon Musk is even promoting the kid in the first place is because he's just trying to promote all the people that are dick riding him, which is pretty clear. And he's already made so many mistakes with individuals. Would you really expect him to look into anyone before promoting them? Absolutely not. He didn't do it with Eliza. He's not doing it with Mario. He's just going to quietly stop promoting them and never say anything about it again, and then make the same fucking mistake next week. So who really knows? All I know is that whenever I see these swarthy foreign individuals, they're just untrustworthy, dog. Like, guys like Mario, untrustworthy. The two motherfuckers that are with him, I just look at them and I immediately think untrustworthy, swarthy, criminal. That's what I think. And you know what? That's not racist. That's just my eyes being better than yours and me being able to read their entire life in a second and knowing that they're pieces of shit by simply looking at my screen. So it is what it is. I don't know. I do what I do. I do what I do. I do what I do. Don't really care about anything else on new. Sadly, my favorite breakfast spot, Tiffany's, the famous jewelry store, is on fire, and it's right next to Trump Tower, baby. And this was like earlier today, too. Don't know why it was on fire. Don't know if people were trying to like burn it down or whatever, but it's kind of weird because it just reopened like a few months ago, and yeah, now it's on fire again and getting shut down. And nobody really knows why. Yeah. But what they say is an electrical vault outside the Manhattan Crown Jewel landmark sparked a blaze. So they had an electric vault that sparked a blaze and basically took out the store. Although it really didn't take out too much, and they're probably going to be able to reopen it. For the most part, it seems like an underground electrical fire was the cause of the blaze, and they might actually be able to do something with the store here in the very near future. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jacob, I would like to trust Elon Musk more, but after he lied to my face and unfollowed me and started doing all this negative stuff, the trust level for the billionaire bitch boy is about 0. And I can call him that because this is exactly what he is. Like, oh, you made $1 billion. Congratulations. I spent $1 billion. I fucking lost $1 billion myself. And I made it before you did. Huh. Yesterday, it was reported that Madonna has been rushed to a hospital in New York City after being found unresponsive, and where she's been intubated. And she's a big donor in the COVID research and stuff, but according to what the news is saying is that there was some type of bacterial infection that she was suffering, and she's still currently in the hospital the last time that I checked. Right, but I did hear that something was actually happening with her. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to say that there was anything, but what's this? Is that Madonna leaving the hospital? No, that's not Madonna leaving the hospital.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House. Yeah.
Oh, cool. You thought a lot about blowing up the White House. Nice. Wait, what's this?
Moderna, 2 times.
Nice. You got those doses.
I got that Moderna. We got that Moderna. I wouldn't be surprised if Madonna was found unresponsive due to a drug overdose, because you got to be on a lot of drugs to accept this as your face. Yeah, actually, I don't disagree with that. Like, Madonna used to be hot. But now she just looks fucking weird. You know, like, whatever they're pumping into her face is not doing good on her. Is that Botox? Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you make your face do that? Like, what the fuck do they do to your face to do that? Like, it's like they're, like, putting cheek fillers in, and then she got the lip filler, and then, like, shit's fucked up, bro. But it's not like I'm a huge fan of Madonna or anything. I heard Glenn was a big fan of Madonna, but, you know, Glenn's not around anymore. I heard he died, shot himself in the dick. Not sure. Don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. But here's the message from Biden.
We created 13.4 million new jobs. More jobs in 2 years than any president has ever made in 4, in 2. And folks, it's no accident. That's Bidenomics in action. We created 13.4 million new jobs.
Wow, dude.
Relationship with the Chinese government. We believe very much in a peaceful, rising China. We think we have much more to fear from a weak, chaotic China than a China constructive relationship with the Chinese.
Fucking Joe Biden looking like Barack Obama is unnerving as fuck. That is an unnerving look right there. That's just an unnerving video. It just makes me feel weird. It just makes me feel weird. Oh, I figured I would post it up too because I saw this video get posted. Very happily, very excited. A day ago too, since all this Mario Narfall shit was going up, there's a great video over on Upper Echelon's YouTube channel. Basically just kind of going over all of the newest information in that particular situation that he's uncovered. I don't have any access to that stuff, so I recommend that if you're interested in any of that, you just go watch his video. Yep. Oh, wait. Shit. Wrong button. Yeah. And then I also noticed too that, you know, they're talking a lot about that guy using bots and me mentioning him today. And I was getting bots literally sending me YouTube hijack links. See that? Very, 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 very strange. So who knows, man? I don't know. In other news, if you forgot, remember there was that rapper Travis Scott? Well, he's avoided charges in the Astro World tragedy. It looks like the jury has decided that he's going to avoid charges in the Texas crowd rush that ended up killing 10 people and left thousands injured. But yes, Harris County District Kim Ogg said the grand jury was a culmination of 19 months of investigation into the tragedy at Scott's Astro World Festival in November of 2021. And they've decided that they're not going to charge him with anything. They're just going to let him get off scot-free. And Scott's attorney, Ken Schaefer, says the findings confirm that Scott was not responsible for the tragedy at the festival. And now that the chapter is closed, we hope the government efforts to focus on what is more important, stopping future heartbreaking tragedies like Astro World from ever occurring again. Interesting. 5 others, including Live Nation Festival manager Brett Silberstein, were also cleared. Brett did everything he could to run a safe festival. He shouldn't be held liable. Yes. And they said that the probe itself stemmed from the deadly surge of fans at the Astro World in Houston, where thousands were injured when an overcapacity crowd pressed forward as Scott took the stage. 10 people were killed by compressive asphyxiation, including a 10-year-old boy. Yep. You know what? Honestly, FJB. But I go to festivals all the time, and, you know, like, this is always a problem, especially, but, you know, to be perfectly honest, this is only a problem at rap concerts and sometimes metal concerts, to be perfectly frank. But, like, honestly, we've only ever seen this. Like, 10 years of Coachella, did we ever see anything like this? No, we fucking didn't. Like, there would be a bunch of people rushing the stages and stuff to get there, but, you know, like, there wasn't people just pushing to the front and being an assholes, and if people started doing that, the security immediately got involved. Like, immediately. Yep. Immediately. So, yeah, it's obviously, maybe it wasn't his fault. He didn't ask him to run up, but they ran up anyway, and they got dead. So that's where we're at on that particular one. I thought that was just a pretty interesting story because it's something that hasn't come up in the past, or hasn't really come up that much, man. In other news, Ron DeSantis' campaign for president is doing pretty bad. He's down 30 points in his home state against Donald Trump, and now apparently he's pissing off New York City Republicans because Lawrence Garvey, the chair of the GOP in New York, says that he's gotten no heads up from the Ron DeSantis campaign before he sent out a flyer for a $6,600 a person fundraiser. Wow, that seems like a really expensive dinner with major business leaders that you could go to. Kind of seems like something that I wouldn't even be a part of, but oh well. A Republican Party is the big tent, and it's always honored to have national figures come to Rockland. At the same time, there's courtesies and protocols that are involved. While we understand communications can be sometimes difficult, we nevertheless think communication is necessary, says Garvey. And he's disappointed that he didn't get an apology for the slight because he's been slighted. The New York City Republicans have been slighted because DeSantis is moving in their section and he hasn't even talked to them. Oh. But yes, they said the original venue was part of a first-term Republican Mike Lawler's 17th congressional district, which is a key target for Democrats and their plan to retake the House in 2024. And I guess that DeSantis coming in is kind of screwing up whatever they got going on locally, and it's just kind of like pissing them off. So it just makes me wonder, like, are we still actually looking at Ron DeSantis as like a real candidate? Because like I know there was like a bunch of dipshit Republicans that were trying to say that they were going to vote for him, and I'm still like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, that dude can't beat Biden. Not with your vote, not with 50 of your friends' votes. Like, are you dumb? For the 50 friends that you have, there's 200 people that are going to vote for Trump just because. So don't waste your vote. Because that's exactly what Biden wants you to do. But you know what? Congratulations to Ron DeSantis for at least making it this far. Honestly, if they actually do debates, it's going to be fucking hilarious to see how that shit happens. Whatever, though. Bye, Ron DeSantis. Good luck. Try not to drop too much more in the points. In other more morbid news, human remains have likely been recovered from the Titan submersible wreckage. That's right, the United States Coast Guard has said debris from the Titan submersible from OceanGate that was visiting the Titanic wreck that allegedly imploded as it was heading down to the bottom of the seafloor to check it out. Well, they started unloading little pieces of it. You can see that right there is actually one of the pieces of the OceanGate that's currently being unloaded from the Horizon Arctic ship at the Coast Guard pier. And it looks like this might actually be there. So a lot of folks were claiming that this was some kind of conspiracy to get rid of certain individuals and blah, blah, blah. This doesn't really take that away, but at least it shows that those guys are, they didn't fake their deaths and they're gone. But they said what they have found to be likely human remains in the wreckage of the submersible that imploded. And it comes just hours really after they collected more than 12,000, or they collected it for more than 12,000 feet below the surface of the ocean, which is pretty crazy. And all they really found were a bunch of twisted chunks of the submersible that have been unloaded onto a Canadian Coast Guard pier so they can actually scrutinize the wreckage and figure out why exactly the Titan imploded. Was it just because it was a carbon fiber tube? Was it because they screwed screws into the carbon fiber tube? I don't know. But what I do know is that it's definitely a catastrophic loss. And one thing can be said is that, the guy that designed it wasn't completely a dumbass. He was the dumbass for putting it over and 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 over again into the water. But essentially, if he would have only used it a couple of times, it would have been a pretty badass submarine, I guess. It's just that they kind of used it too much and it decided that it wasn't going to keep itself open anymore. Yeah. So a little bit of news, at least. We're going to maybe get some critical insights as to why the Coast Guard and the government think that this thing imploded. And honestly, we should be thinking about it. Submarines can be reusable, but not when they're made with carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is not that type of material. It's like a one and done type thing, right? For most applications, to be perfectly honest. Okay. whatever. But, sucks that those people died, though. Sucks that those people died. Oh, I didn't actually want to put that one up there. All right. Next one that I didn't actually even know about, but I saw it on the Daily Beast. Did you guys know that Trump is actually suing Jean E. Carroll? And they're thinking that this shit might actually work. Because, well, Donald Trump is now going back at Jean E. Carroll and suing her. But yes, he's countersuing E. Jean Carroll, who successfully sued him for defamation last month. And he's filed a answer and counterclaim to Carroll's amended complaint in federal court. And in this case, she was seeking damages from Trump while he was president as a liar for claiming that he sexually assaulted her at the Bergdorf Goodman department store in 1996. In his counterclaim, he's seeking damages from Carroll for defaming him by contending that he raped her, even though the jury earlier this month found him liable for sexual assault, but not rape. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that would be, wouldn't that be kind of defamatory or whatever? If she said that he raped her, but then it was proven in court that he didn't rape her and he merely could have possibly touched her. How strange is that, actually? Yeah, I feel that one's pretty strange. But yes, it sounds kind of familiar, but yeah, he's actually going to get a jury on that one. And it's kind of funny because it's basically the same kind of thing that she tried to do him. So he's probably going to end up not having to pay her any money, depending on what's going on. And it says the difference between sexual assault and rape under New York law is that sexual assault is required to the jury to find that Donald Trump forcibly touched Jeannie Carroll's general without consent. Rape requires proof that Donald Trump penis penetrated Jeannie Carroll's vagina, which obviously no proof exists of that because the shit never happened or whatever. So I don't know. It's the first time that somebody's ever been able to get convicted of something with no evidence other than, this one lady's word that she doesn't quite remember. So whatever. It's like this is definitely Gloria Allred's wet dream in a lot of ways, but now it's going to become more of a nightmare because Carol's the one that said that he raped her, and she utilized the raped term very perniciously throughout the entirety of her case, even though she even said directly that he never actually raped her. So yeah, sometimes when these leftists use certain loaded language, they don't really realize that there's consequences for that in every place. It just takes, a smart individual to actually figure that shit out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what I'm saying. So I guess we're going to have to think about this one. Yep. Yeah, I think we're going to have to worry about it. But we're going to really have to look into this Jeannie Carroll situation, person, whoever the fuck that person was in the near future, because it makes almost no sense. Although, I guess next thing here is kind of sad. Maybe it's sad. Is it not sad? A little weird. Kind of strange. We got Parkland shooting Sheriff Deputy Scott Peterson was found not guilty on all counts. And if you don't remember who Scott Peterson was, Scott Peterson was the school resource officer that was on duty during the Parkland, Florida massacre. He was the one that stayed outside and never actually went inside. And yeah, he was the guy at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shoots who didn't confront the gunman during the alleged or deadly shooting in 2018. And guess what? He was found not guilty of child neglect and other charges on Tuesday. This dude's 60 years old, and he was charged in connection of the deaths at Industries on the upper floor by gunman Nicholas Cruz. And yes, all 11 not guilty verdicts were read in the court. Peterson was sobbing, and he just told reporters that he got back his life. Yep.
Just moments ago, this man, Scott Peterson, an ex-deputy, was found not guilty for not taking action during the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School almost 5 years ago. He continues to be overwhelmed with emotion.
Don't anybody ever forget this was a massacre on February 14th. The only person to blame was that monster. It wasn't any law enforcement. Nobody on that scene, from BSO, Coral Springs. Everybody did the best they could.
Except for you, you fucking pussy, because you fucking ran outside you and tried to save a single fucking kid. Because you are a pussy. You didn't use your gun. You just used your title as police officer to save yourself, and you didn't help a single soul. So yeah, fuck the gunman, but still, fuck you. Congratulations that, you got out of court and shit, but sorry, dog. You're still going to be a piece of shit in my book for the rest of your life. And into the next one.
We did the best we could with the information we had, and God knows we wish we had more.
What do you say to the family, Scott? I know it's emotional for them today, too, but this obviously isn't the outcome they wanted. Do you have any response to
You know what I tell the families? I would love to talk to them. I have no problem calling Mark, saying, hey, we want to talk, we'd like to know everything. I'm there. I would have been there from day one. So I'll always be there. If they need to really know the truth of what occurred,
if they need to know the truth,
my actions, but what occurred, I'm there for them. Me and Lydia, we've mourned with them for 4.5 years. I've seen some of these family members, and I'd love to went over to them and hugged them and said, God, I'm sorry. Yeah. But, I know that's maybe not what they're feeling at this point. Maybe now, maybe they'll get a little understanding, but I'll be there for them. I'll be there for them. How could I not?
What about the prosecution? What do you say?
How come you weren't there for the kids, bro? It was your job to be there for the kids, and you left them hanging. You left them hanging. Your 56 years on the planet were more important than their 18 or less.
I'll let Mark talk about that.
We are extremely pleased with the outcome today. But understand something.
A very emotional Scott Peterson.
Yeah, I would love to talk with the families. They may not want to talk to me, but I'm here for them. I'm here for you, families. I wasn't there for your kids, but I'm going to be there for you. So, I guess congratulations to this dude for not having to go to jail or be held accountable for this terrible situation. But, I'm not going to cut it loose in any type of way and be pretty frank on that. You saved yourself. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with being a coward and saving yourselves, folks. You can do that, right? And last time I checked, there's nowhere in the police charter or whatever that says that you have to go get yourself killed for anyone else. It says that you're supposed to protect and serve or whatever, but, this guy made his decisions and he's going to have to live with it. So he might have gotten off in a real court, but the court of public opinions is not going to be so kind to him. And that's something that you can quote because you definitely know that's what's going to be happening. And yeah, the cops at Broward and Vivaldi, they had no accountability in the same way to this. They just tried charging this guy. But it is what it is, man. So congratulations to him on his big win. Appreciate it. Then I guess what's the last thing that we talk about today? Oh, yes. Apparently, there's a lot of fucking rioting going along in France again. It took me a little bit to figure out exactly why there's been 2 nights of rioting in France, but I guess it's all over the fatal shooting of a 17-year-old teenager by a police officer. And now they got a whole entire situation like we did with the Chash Chop, whatever the fuck, happening right now. And it seems like it just keeps going over and over and over. According to the news, 421 people have been arrested across France in protests that went from Thursday night into Friday morning. And of 242 of those arrests took place in the Paris region and departments of Hauts-de-Seine, Seine-de-Dens, and Val-de-Marne, which is pretty crazy if you really think about it. So it seems like the crackdown over in Paris is going to be pretty big because Macron says that it's condemned the violence as unjustifiable. And the youth was identified only as Nahal died after being shot by police officers during a traffic stop in the Parisian suburb of Nanterre on Tuesday. So all we really know is that there was a fatal police shooting of a teenage boy that has, I don't know, seemingly kind of looks like maybe it could be a Middle Eastern name. I don't know. I've never seen Nahar or Nahel. That doesn't seem Parisian to me. Yeah. And so it's this France shooting. Who was Nahel M, shot by the police in Nanterre? They've taken my baby.
Ils m'ont enlevé un bébé. C'était encore un enfant. Il avait besoin de sa mère. Ce matin, il m'a fait un gros bisou. Il m'a dit, maman, je t'aime. Je lui ai dit, fais attention à toi. Je lui ai dit, je t'aime, fais attention à toi. Voilà. On est...
Sad, man. But yes, the only child brought up by his mother had been working as a takeaway delivery driver and played rugby league. His education was described as chaotic. He was enrolled in College of Sursines, not far from where he lived, and trained to be an electrician. Those who knew him said he was well loved in Nanterre, where he lived with his mother Moina, and apparently had never known his father. His record of attendance at college was poor. He also did not have a criminal record, but he was known to the police. He had given his mother a big kiss before he went to work and said, "I love you, Mom." Shortly after 9 in the morning on Tuesday, he was fatally shot in the chest point blank at the wheel of a Mercedes car for driving off during a police traffic check. "What am I going to do now?" asked his mother. "I devoted everything to him," she said. "I've only got one. I haven't got 10 children. He was my life, my best friend." His grandfather spoke of him as a kind, good boy. A refusal to stop doesn't give you a license to kill, says Socialist Party leader Oliver Fayer. All children of the Republic have a right to justice. And yeah, I don't think I'm actually going to play the scenes of them getting shot, but he tried to drive off, and yeah, he got popped as he was trying to drive off from them. And who are they? The cops. He was trying to drive away from the cops. So programming, aimed, all of that stuff. I mean, it's just really sad when everybody gets taken out by the cops and shit like this. But I don't know why he was known to the police if he had never been arrested, number one. And number two, why was he trying to drive off? Because if you look at that picture right there, you can see where those cops are standing. And it just seems like a bad situation all around. Bad situation all around. So that's what's happening right now in the world today. It feels like we're going to be getting something like this. Yep, something like that. That's what today's all about, it feels like. I don't know, man. News seems kind of crazy today. I mean, it's a weird news day, you gotta say. It's a weird news day. It's a weird new day. Yeah, it's been a weird news day, I think. Hasn't really been that much news. Just kind of like a weird day with some weird things being said. And, I mean, it's kind of weird, dude. Just a weird, weird day. Weird, weird day. I don't think we were ever going to see any of that positivity coming through. It looks like things are only going to get a little bit stranger as we're moving forward today, right? Like, the news is all right. Looks like we're all just going to kind of have to wait to see what happens in the Biden situation. I guess the Supreme Court is really looking to make some big changes, and they just did, to be perfectly honest. And all I think you can do is be positive about that kind of stuff it is. And I mean, what is today even? Today is a Friday, right? Or today's Thursday. Yeah, today's Thursday because I got to work in Tahoe tomorrow. So, yep, I got to go work in Tahoe tomorrow at the bank. Go install some more networking equipment and whatnot. Have a nice little time. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So, I guess I'll catch you guys on the flip side tomorrow. Thanks for joining us up today on another episode of the Best Worst Show on the Internet. My name's Manuel Chavez III, and I appreciate y'all being here. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, follow, share this one with your friends and all that good stuff. And I guess we'll see you again on the next one. And to all those people that were rooting for me in the whole Rumble thing, sometimes it's easier to save your energy, right? Save your energy, because there's some things that are just never going to change. Either way, see you later. Have a good one.